It's the morning, the moon is in Scorpio, and if there's one thing that Scorpio is good at, is finding the light on a dark morning.
Each day, in the evening when I get home, always hope to find you all alone and out of harm's way.
If you're new to my channel, this is the series where I choose to live by the moon. I pick a day, see where the moon is, and I try to adjust my activities so I only do things that fit that energy. I also take a look at where the moon is, in which house in my chart, and do activities that fit that house. On this day, the moon was in Scorpio, and Scorpio is in the 4th house of my chart. So I thought, what better way to tap into that 4th house energy than to have a call? Have a call with my family. I was on the phone with my sister and my new niece and my mom. And we were just chatting up and catching up. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. There was just something so natural about having a call and connecting with my family, which, believe me, doesn't always feel that way. So I do think that the Scorpio moon had something to contribute, had some beautiful energy to contribute to my 4th house this day. And I'm happy that I took the opportunity to chat with my family. And of course, keeping it real on the channel, sometimes you cannot avoid doing activities in your day that don't fit with a certain energy. I had to do a little bit of work this day as well, so I made sure that I did that. However, I didn't want to notice if there was a sort of difference in how I worked or how I felt during work during a Scorpio moon versus any other day. And I feel like I was able to focus quite a bit and get some deep work done on this day, which I think could be that sort of energy of Scorpio allowing you to sort of dive in deep and find the roots, the motivations of things. So I do feel like I felt some of that Scorpio energy during my work day.
When you're around, we never talk about the way we feel. You always leave a doubt.
The 4th house also represents our foundations, not only in the way of our home or our family, but also our emotional foundations, our psychological foundations. And of course, with also having Scorpio there, allowing you to peer deep into that aspect, into those 4th house themes, I thought the perfect fit would be doing some journaling and some meditation, getting to the roots of my psychological foundation, journaling on some things that were on my mind, and allowing myself to take some time for a meditation. Sometimes there's so much to do, and a meditation doesn't have a deadline. So I can put it off sometimes for a couple of days. But I wanted to see if with this Scorpio moon, the meditation and the journaling would feel different, would allow me to go deeper. I don't know if I necessarily noticed a huge difference from when I usually do journaling or meditation, but I did notice that it felt super nice to do. And it's something that I really do want to continue every day, no matter if the moon is in Scorpio or not. One of the things that is really interesting about the sign of Scorpio, the archetype of Scorpio, is this idea that you're supposed to live life as if today's your last day. It's this sort of idea that if you got the doctor in the hospital saying to you, hey, you have a month to live, how are you going to live? What is going to change about the way you live your life from that moment onwards? And this is basically how the archetype of Scorpio is supposed to approach life. It's, people I think a lot of times confuse the archetype of Scorpio, confuse this intensity with this idea of they're always, cutting people off. If you do something bad to them, they're done with you. And also this idea of, they're jealous or possessive. But I think a lot of that intensity that they have is actually just this idea of, I'm going to say what's on my mind and I'm going to say what I want to say, because I could literally die tomorrow. And I think Scorpio, the archetype of Scorpio, is really well acquainted with that idea. So, today with a Scorpio moon, I thought, how can I bring some of that, today is my last day attitude in today. And, I thought about it and I was like, okay, there's obviously all of these things I would want to do, like I want to go to Japan before I die. I want to, I don't know, I want to have kids before I die. I want to go skydiving before I die. But a lot of it was also just this sort of practical side of, I'm not going to be able to go to Japan today, nor am I going to be able to have children today or go skydiving. So I really thought of it more as like, hey, what are the relationships that I have in my life that, if I was to die in a month, I really want to make sure I leave them in a place where they feel my love and my appreciation. And I thought, hey, I could do something for somebody in my life. And I thought, hey, why don't I do something for my boyfriend? One of the things that I've really wanted to do lately as well is start being creative again. I went to art school, if you haven't watched my previous videos. But after I graduated, I just never got this feeling of I want to do art. It felt quite a bit like, okay, I am really finished with it for now. When you do something for assignments, for getting a grade, is something that you do like 8 hours a day and more. I think to a certain extent, when you're done with it, you're like, okay, I can not do this for a while. So I think that's just where I sat when I graduated. And one of the things that I've wanted to do recently, because now it's been almost 3 years since I graduated. So something that I really have wanted to do recently was just be creative again without any sort of, I don't even want to say pressure, but without any sort of expectation. I really wanted to become this thing that I just do because I want to do it or when I want to do it. Not because I have to, or, with different things, I have very much like a set schedule, like, and I'm quite self-disciplined with it. And I was like, no, I want this. I want creativity to be something I don't force right now. Anyways, all of this is to say that I am making a collage that I'm going to gift to my boyfriend, and I hope he likes it. This is what I thought, hey, if I'm going to live for only a month, what do I want to do today? And that's what I thought. I think there's been a part of me a lot lately that has been trying to step a little bit more into this softer way of being, if I can even call it like that. And what I mean by that is this way of being that is focused more on feeling, this way of being that's focused more on, how do I describe it? Less on doing and more on letting things come to you. And I think a lot of this has also risen up because I'm having my Saturn return in Pisces. So I think that's also a huge contributor to this. And I think it's nice, like, don't get me wrong, I think self-discipline is so important. Like, one of the most important things in life is self-discipline, and people have always given me comments on how self-disciplined I am. For example, when I was a teenager, I was, in high school, I would come home after sitting for 8 hours at school, and in the evening, and I set up this schedule, and I told myself, like, I am going to, I was quite religious back then, so I was like, I am going to study the Bible for 2 hours every night after school. And I did it. For a long time, I did it. And this is like a teenager. I was weird, I know. So in that sense, like, self-discipline has always come so easily to me, and I think this is one thing that I'm also supposed to learn with my Saturn return. This idea that you cannot make everything happen. Like, I am so self-disciplined with making things happen, with making my routine, with, getting a degree, getting a job, making sure I'm, like, uploading on YouTube while having a full-time job, that sometimes what I think my Saturn return is about is stepping into that energy of being, stepping into that energy of feeling like I am enough just the way I am, that I don't need to achieve anything, and to get a little bit more in touch with that sort of energy or way of being. So thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I think I'm going to continue making this collage, just have fun with it and see where it goes. And hopefully at the end of it, I'm going to have something nice to give to my boyfriend and hopefully help nurture that relationship. And you know what? I'm going to listen to some true crime YouTube videos, I think. Fun story. I used to listen to them all the time. I was like obsessed. And I think there just came a point where I started getting really scared. Like, I would start being a bit paranoid, looking at people weirdly. After listening to them, I would always sort of look behind me. And I didn't like that, so I stopped it. but I was thinking today about sort of Scorpios and this idea that Scorpios are really good at getting underneath the surface of things and sort of investigating. They're really into like mysterious things. So I was like, that's perfect. Like listening listening to true crime, that's like perfect for a Scorpio moon. So I really thought, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make this collage and I'm gonna listen to true crime. It feels very much like a Scorpio evening. So that should be fun.
In the morning when I get up, I wish that we could stop and take each day. In the evening when I get home, always hope to find you all alone and out of harm's way.
And then I couldn't sleep because I listened to true crime and I was scared again. So, moral of the story, only go as deep and as dark as you feel comfortable with in this moment. Thanks for joining me for the day, and I'll see you again soon.